But let me just go ahead and introduce Congressman Fleming. We're so grateful for your willingness to be a hero on this issue. This is not a politically correct issue, as we all well know. You take a lot of flames and arrows for taking a stand, particularly up on Capitol Hill on this issue. And so Congressman Fleming is a real hero of mine, and he's here today particularly because he is a family medicine doctor. So he has a dual expertise, not just as a legislator, but someone who has an expertise in the medical arena. He was first elected to Congress in 2008, and he represents Louisiana's 4th Congressional District. He is a member of the Congressional Pro-Life Caucus, and I'm very proud to say that he has a 100% pro-life rating from Americans United for Life Action. So if you would please come join us, we are very, very pleased.
God bless you all, and thanks for the opportunity. I am from Louisiana, and not only am I a family physician, but I'm also a father of 4, and a grandfather of 2.5. That is to say, I'm expecting my first granddaughter in August, so we're very delighted about that. You know, as a family physician, I delivered back in the day hundreds of babies. And, you know, every time I delivered a baby, it was like the whole experience, the whole wonderment of it, the mystery that went along with it, I relived it again and again. I never got used to it. In fact, it's similar to the experience that I have, you know, when I fly back to Washington. I'm coming back from being home in my district, driving up the street and seeing the Capitol at night, you know, with the lights, and you get that kind of giddy feeling, kind of tingly sensation. Well, that's the way it was each and every time that I had the opportunity to deliver a baby. So I felt that that is Carl Sandburg's I think his famous quote is, "It's God's opinion that the world goes on every time we have a baby born." A lot's going on in this movement, and I'll just touch some high points and certainly give way to Ms. Blackburn here. We're working hard, but I think there's some things that we're learning about the whole movement, the pro-life movement. One is that, you know, we keep trying to fix Roe v. Wade, and after all these decades, we're just simply not able to do it. Now, that doesn't mean we shouldn't keep trying. We should. We're gaining ground. For the first time since Roe v. Wade, we have more Americans who are pro-life than ever before. In fact, a majority for the first time. But, you know, we need to learn the power of incremental movement and a forward motion. And we are doing that. And it's really happening on the states. As many of you know, Louisiana, it ranks usually number 1 or number 2 in the nation on reforms that are ongoing. Things like a cooling off period before a young lady makes that final decision. The requirement that she's offered an ultrasound before making that final decision. Powerful, powerful tools for life. Arkansas recently passed a law, it's held up in court now, that says that abortions can't be done after 12 weeks. We're gaining ground on this. As a physician, I understand, and many of you need to learn about this, is that there's a lot of things we can do in requiring doctors to be accountable for their practices. For instance, it used to really send me up the wall when a young lady would come in after an abortion with a complication, to me of all people. Why? Because the doctor did the abortion and left town, of all things. Well, there are laws being passed through many states now that say, no, you have to be there for post-op care, for complications. You have to be there when it comes to the need to be on hospital staff so you can perform surgery, and you don't just dump that problem to somebody else. So we need to continue that incremental movement. We need to reduce the number of abortions while we're trying to stop abortions to begin with. And here's the other thing. We're all aware of the recent Gosnell situation. Now, wasn't it really the argument in the first place that if we made abortions legal and transparent, that we would not have Gosnells of the world, right? The backroom abortions. But what did we find with Gosnell? Government totally ignored the oversight role that it had for care in that building. We know that the only reason as I understand the story, that he was even discovered was they had figured out that he had a pill mill, that it was really giving out OxyContin or selling it. I mean, this man was in this business for money. Make no mistake about it. It was not about high principles. He was there to make money, and he was making it hand over fist. And they got suspicious, not because there was blood on the wall or because women were getting venereal disease from the instruments that weren't being cleaned. It was because of the pill mill that was going on there. And then they got suspicious when they saw some pretty disturbing things like little babies' feet in jars and, of course, blood on the walls. And so that brings up the other important topic, and that is Trent Frank's bill, which is a pain-capable bill that we, of course, tried to pass into law here in D.C. As you know, a woman can actually have an abortion even up to and during labor in D.C. and other places. Yeah, that's right. A woman can be termed, in theory, I'm not saying that it happens, but in theory, it's not against the law to perform an abortion in some venues, even up to the point of actual delivery. Going back to Gosnell, why did he actually do these clippings, killing babies after they were born? Well, it turns out that he would do abortions so late in the pregnancy that he was having terrible complications and getting sued. So he figured out it was safer to just go ahead and force a delivery of a premature baby. And then if it came out alive, then he would kill it then. You see, he was reducing his risk while he was killing the baby. But let me just end by saying this. When it comes to abortion, there are two victims here. There's a victim, the obvious victim, the unborn. And in the case of those who are 20 weeks or more, and I suspect even less than that, they're feeling pain. They're feeling pain. We know that. How do we know that? Because we're in an era now where we actually do surgery on fetuses while they're still in the womb for defects that may give them greater survivability towards term. And what they did is, as they videoed these procedures, they see the baby moving away from pain, as you would. They obviously feel pain, and as a result of that, they anesthetize them. So when they're doing surgery on them to save their lives, they have to anesthetize them, not to cause pain and not to torture them. But Dr. Gosnell and others who do late-term and mid-term abortions, dismembering babies, that's got to be very painful and very torturous. So here we are, a society that believes that you can't waterboard humans, even though they're terrorists, and a society that believes that we have a humane society for animals, and yet we ignore what's happening to young babies in the womb. So we have two victims. We have the baby, and we have the mom. And I won't belabor that because we all already heard about that, but you know that the incidence of depression, of suicide, and many, many negative outcomes when it comes to later miscarriages and all the other things that can be problematic for life and outcome are higher when it comes to young ladies who have abortions. Anyway, thank you for your time. God bless you. Keep up the great work that you're doing today.
Thank you.